Thank you for all joining today's session on how to achieve exponential growth in digital fundraising. I'm Jeonghyun Lee, currently working as a global digital fundraising specialist here at UNICEF based in Geneva. For the last 6 years, I worked for UNICEF Korea and had helped them to raise over $500 million for every child. I was privileged to help UNICEF Korea to shape their digital fundraising campaigns to achieve 3x growth in revenue. Today's session, I'd like to quickly show you how they achieve such exponential growth in such a short period of time. First of all, as a fundraiser, if you look at this kind of graph, we kind of sit up straight and kind of pay attention to it. This is what we call a hockey stick graph because of the shape of it. The graph shows the number of monthly regular donors, what we call pledge donors, that UNICEF Korea recruited per month. The blue graph in 2017 at one point in November shows 690% more of donors recruited compared to the same period last year. And surprisingly, the overall return on ad spend was 19 almost. How did they do this? So the secret of their 3x growth is quite simple. These 3 elements had helped them to achieve the results, which was they first validate the messages or creatives that they want to test even before launching any kind of digital campaigns, and then they persistently testing every different messages and advertising platform, even their website platforms, etc. And once they found a winning content or messages, then they invest heavily in a paid media. Let's quickly look at each element from the next slides. So what do you mean by validating the messages? UNICEF Korea had thoroughly validated the messages before launching campaign through rigorous studies on finding creatives or messages that audiences are likely to respond. UNICEF Korea started from safer ground or sound expectations on how the success would look like if they launch the digital campaign. Remember, this validating messages is all done inorganically, so there is 0 advertising spent on this. Let's have a quick look what is the process look like when they validate the winning messages. So step 1 is to create lots and lots of different types of content to test and score the success of each piece of content on scoring matrices. We'll quickly review what scoring matrices look like. It's basically a piece of Excel sheet, but this scoring matrices give them an engagement and click rates and tell them which contents are the winning contents, and also they kind of allow them to prioritize which hypothesis to be tested before they launch any kind of activities. So they take the most successful content from the step 1 and they move into the step 2, which is one-page campaign. This is where they create the quick landing pages and then maybe add some of the low-cost ads to drive donations. They continue measure click and donation rates at this point. Only the most successful one-page campaign can then be developed into their quarterly campaign or annual campaigns, where lots of budget is spent or invested. By this stage, they already know the content will be successful. Doing this over and over again has led Korea UNICEF being experts in what different audiences are responding to. Let me show you some examples. So this is about the Coral Child, early child marriages. On the left-hand side is the organically tested content, which is 0 advertising spent. They found that this organic content has generated a lot of engagement rate, also click-through rates and higher conversion rates compared to the other content that created 3 per every week. These successful content then quickly move into the one page, which is shown in the middle, one-page landing pages, right, with a smaller amount of advertising spending, and then if it's successful in terms of a donation KPI, then they move into the fuller blown fundraising campaign of their annual plan. Not all campaigns been successfully developed into quarterly campaigns. for example, this case 2 shows a rational approaches which performed really well when they organically tested. However, this one page testing didn't show them promising results, and hence they did not develop it into a annual campaigns. It's about the best investment for you and children kind of thing. So it's more rational approaches. It gives about the vaccines, the price of the vaccines that UNICEF delivers in the field, and the professionals that UNICEF staff in the field has been working. The third cases that here now we're showing is about the campaigns that we are most likely to spend most of our presentation today, which is focused on you kind of contents. So through many organic contents testing, they found out that donors resonate most when it's important to their own value and when it's important to their real life experiences. So what UNICEF Korea did is created a one-page campaign existing using their donors, and then creates into a fully blown annual campaigns, which currently running for over 2 years, although there has been a slight changes in messages and content and themes as well. So now we're moving into the second element of secrets, which is persistent testing. So what do you mean by persistent testing? Korea for UNICEF, this is the matrix that scoring matrices that we briefly mentioned in a previous slide. On your left-hand side, you will be able to see the organic contents, or where you can also see on your right-hand side their performances. So each content has been measured based on their key performance indexes, and their benchmark standard or averages is varied according to the period of the time that they were testing. So this time they're setting 2016 from January to June kind of averages. The conversion from this organic content was 0.7, whereas this content was 0%. Hence, they stopped this test. This is another scoring matrices. Here, the important thing that what UNICEF Korea did is continue keeping the low keeping to ensure this institutional knowledge to transfer and feeding into their annual campaigns, not only that year, but also the next year and upcoming years as well. These kind of log or diary has been kept over 4 years now, and this gives a lot of ample examples of what content resonates most during which period of time to which audiences. So here, if you look at closely on the hypothesis, they set up all different layers of hypothesis and identify which elements can be tested on that organic content, and also they set records of each relevant creators that were created to test on the hypothesis, and also not to forget about the KPIs. This will be your valuable assets if you try to replicate the successes of the campaigns a year ago or 2 years ago, because the audiences and the trends are changing, and some of the hypotheses that you might think worked or didn't work may work or may not work today. So it is always important to keep the records. Through testing, what is important is that working this way, Korea started to find some interesting trends. What UNICEF Korea found was that they needed to shift from being cause-oriented to being more ego-focused. So I think it's easier to show you a little bit of examples in the next slides. But before that, what they identified as a cause-focused content is that donation is to help others. I would donate because they say it's my responsibility and duty, and hence the organization or UNICEF tend to use emotional call to actions to provide guilty feelings. However, ego-focused is more about the donation is to speak about what I care, and I donate because it's what I need to act on my belief and emphasize me as a decision maker and advocate. And so UNICEF need to give them a symbol to express their own value. Let me show you quick examples. So it's a story. It's my story, actually. As a proud UNICEF supporter, I care about what I believe, and it shows about all the different faces of UNICEF in their markets. Here's the next videos.
절대로 지고 싶지 않은 싸움이 있어. 상대는 생각보다 강해. 그리고 위협적이지. 가끔은 포기하고 싶기도 해. 하지만 우리는 알고 있어. 함께일 때 더 강해진다는 것을. 유니세프 팀에 합류해. 우린 더 강해져야 하니까. 우린 꼭 승리해야 하니까. 우리가 원하는 건 단 하나. 모든 어린이가 행복해지는 것. 어린이를 항상 지키는 팀이 있다는 것. 멋지지 않아?
So here in video, all the models were UNICEF donors, and UNICEF donors participated as models to encourage you to join UNICEF team to act on your belief. Using this kind of approaches that UNICEF Korea has found due to the rigorous testing, this campaign has been successful in terms of going viral. This was not asked by UNICEF Korea. The inspired donors or UNICEF supporters share on their social networks without even being asked. It would be really nice if everybody can find a winning content in a short period of time, but even for UNICEF Korea, they had to go through 2 or very painful testing period. They tested all the different messages on a different formats, advertising platforms, using different models and different approaches and messages as well. So the key success factor or secrets would be a persistent testing. The final element would be investment in paid media. On your right-hand side, this is a Instagram advertising that has record of return of 30. To achieve this advertising, they tested different formats with the same budget and targeting, and they also produced and test various contents with different color, fonts, length, CTA, and appeal points, analyze the platform users, and customize ads accordingly. So they never use the same creatives for Facebook and for Instagram. They all created different customized advertising for each time, its audiences. When you're investing in paid media, make sure that you're constantly optimizing and get extra budget ready for a final push. This is how they how they monitor their daily sort of advertising budget. So these advertising budget will show you how constantly testing and optimizing to achieve the great success in a short period of time. So hopefully this has been helpful for you.